In order to install PrestaShop, there are a couple of things we need to do beforehand. The very obvious thing is to actually download the installation file. This can actually be downloaded from the PrestaShop.com. By clicking on this link here, you're going to download the installation file. The installation file itself is a zip file. Once the file has actually been downloaded, you'll be brought to a page that looks like this. Open the zip file and unzip it onto your computer. This is the very first step. The second step is to actually sign up for a web hosting service. Find a web hosting provider that actually has PHP 5, MySQL, PHPMyAdmin. You'll need this to actually create the database which is going to store all the information about the PrestaShop installation. So once you have actually signed up for web hosting service, go ahead and create this database. Once you have created this database, it's a good thing to actually record the information as you will need it later. You can open a document file like I have done here and record all the relevant information here. Just make sure that nobody actually gets access to this. So maybe it's a good idea that once you have actually printed this out, you actually delete this particular file. Or you can actually just write this down somewhere that you can actually find and use it later. The third thing you'll have to do is to find a FTP client software. I'm going to use FileZilla. This particular software will enable us to actually transfer or upload the files from our computer to our server. On the left hand side is our computer and on the right hand side is the actual server. Right at the top you'll find the host, username and password. This is the information that you have just entered here. So this is my web page, this is my address, my login and my password. This is the domain, the IP address, username and password. Then when I want to upload the files, this is the information I'm going to use. This is going to be my host name, my username and my password will be shown here. As you can see, I'm using a free hosting provider service for this particular purpose. But of course you can sign up for a paid version which will enable you to have a lot of other different options and features. Nevertheless, I'm going to use this free web hosting service for this particular case. So let me go back to FileZilla, and this is the information I have entered here as my host, as my username, password, and I have actually hit on connect. Quick connect. Once I have actually connected to my web page, to my server, like I've said before, I'm going to find my PrestaShop folder and I'm just going to drag it and drop it onto my server like that. Just make sure that you're actually doing this in the right folder, and for my particular case this needs to be done in the public HTML. So I will open public HTML and all I have to do now is click on my PrestaShop folder, drag it and drop it on the right hand side. There's about 8,000 files that need to be transferred, and this is something that I have done beforehand. So if you have a look, I already have a folder here that's called PrestaShop, and once again the right hand side of the screen is the actual server side. So I have actually transferred all the files here beforehand just to save up on some time. Basically, depending on the speed of your server and your transfer rate, this might take something between 20 minutes to even hour and a half. Okay, so let's recap. I have just downloaded PrestaShop installation file. It's actually a zip file. I have unzipped it onto my C drive, for example, and that's this folder here. I have downloaded and installed a FTP client software, which is FileZilla. I have signed up for my web hosting service and I made sure that my web hosting provider has PHP 5, MySQL and PHPMyAdmin. Once I have actually checked that, I've signed up for a hosting service. Then actually what I did is I created a database. I recorded all the information from that database as I will need it later, and then I opened up my FileZilla. In FileZilla, I've entered all the relevant information, so my host, my username, my password, and I have actually connected to my server. On the right hand side, I have all the information, all the files which are currently located at the server side, and on the left hand side I have my computer stuff. And basically what I did is I just clicked, dragged and dropped from the left hand side to the right hand side my PrestaShop folder. Okay, once everything has been completed, we can actually go and open up our web page. When we open our web page, we'll be presented with a screen like this, and basically this will take you through all the installation steps. First of all, you have to choose the language, and I have chosen English. After that, I will hit on next. I'll read through all the terms and conditions, and I click on this checkbox and hit next again. The system will now actually see whether or not the system is compatible with what is required from PrestaShop. Then I'll enter some information. The shop name, I'm going to enter or select from the drop down menu my main activity. I'm going to select my country, enter my name, so first name, last name, my email address and the password. Down the bottom I have a checkbox whether I want to subscribe to a newsletter. It's a good idea because sometimes they will actually send you some update information in that newsletter. Once all of that is done, I have to actually click on next, and I'm gonna come to a configure your database by filling out the following fields. Now this is the information I said is very important, and it's very important that you actually get this right. So once again, I have all that information written here in my text file. So what I did is I went back here and I just copy and paste the information which is required here. Once I have done that, I can actually go and test my database connection. When you get a message like this, database is connected, that actually means that everything is okay. The next thing and the last step that I have to do, which I haven't done beforehand, is actually to go and install this particular software. Okay, so hit on the next button, and now it will actually take me through a process of installing PrestaShop. If you get to this screen, it actually means that your PrestaShop has been successfully installed. Here you'll find two options. The first option is the back office, and the second option here is the front office. Basically this will allow you to view your page as it is at the moment, or to actually go and manage your store. So first of all, let's go and discover our store. Okay, this is what my page currently looks like. This is the default, and basically we'll be actually going and changing all of this to actually meet our needs and our likes. All of this is actually done through the back office, and let's go now into the back office and see what the back office looks like. Okay, so this is the back office, and basically there's a lot of information here, a lot of options which we're going to go through in the future video tutorials. So basically this was how you would go about installing PrestaShop onto your web page. Once again, all you have to do is download PrestaShop installation file, unzip it, then you would have to go and sign up for a web hosting service with a web hosting provider. Once you actually done that, you have to create a database and record all the important information. After that, you will have to find the FTP client software, and as you have seen, I have used FileZilla, and using FileZilla I was able to transfer all of my files from my computer that I have just downloaded onto the web server. Once I have done that, I actually went back to my web page and I followed all the prompts required to install PrestaShop onto my web page. Like I've said, in the next tutorials we'll go through all the options and see what we can do and how we can actually change PrestaShop to actually meet our desired needs and likes.